Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today I'm celebrating the 57th anniversary of Doctor Who, and I am looking back at the best episodes in Doctor Who. And when I say that, I mean New Who, because my knowledge of Classic Who is still very limited. My collection of DVDs is very small still, you all know that. And even if I was including what I have seen in Classic Who, I don't think they would have really made it onto this list. 5 Doctors would have had a good chance, but I don't think it would have made it into the top 10 anyway. So, yes, top 10 New Who episodes to celebrate this day, the 23rd of November 2020. 57 years since an unearthly child broadcast to our screens. Yes, that seems a long time ago, doesn't it? Let's get into it. So, I will be spending some time talking about why I've put these here, why I like them. I'm really going to be moving away from the negatives, if I do have a couple of them. For most of these episodes, it's really just all positives, and most of them are 10 out of 10 stories. But even if there are negatives, I'm going to move away from them, because I really want to focus on what's good about them, because this is a celebratory sort of video. I'm not going to be spending too much time on them, because I really want to get this moving. However, I will be spending a little bit more time talking than I normally do on these ranking videos, because it's a very special video, and I want to really put some work into it. Now, this is very short notice, so there won't be many pictures going on, unfortunately. This is just me speaking. But, yes, I hope that's okay, and I hope you can listen to my voice for 10 minutes. I hope that's no bother. So, number 10, The Stolen Earth and Journey's End from 2008. I think this is just brilliant. The finale to Series 4, it is spectacular. Having all of the companions return is really fitting, and whilst they literally just replayed it in End of Time Part 2, that's not the fault of this episode. This is this episode, and it's absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they can use all of those companions, each of them get to do something, even the smaller ones like Jackie and Mickey, they're still doing a lot, and it works. I know some people say, yeah, but they don't do anything, so what's the point of having them there? I think they do. So, yes, I do think Stolen Earth is greater than Journey's End. It's still very close though, and 2 of them are still very solid episodes. And the Doctor's just brilliant. The Meta Crisis Doctor, it's a brilliant idea. The Doctor Donna, and Donna's exit in the final part is just heartbreaking. And the Daleks are... It's one of the best Dalek episodes in New Who, but we're actually going to get to the best Dalek episode in New Who next, in my opinion. So, number 9, we have Dalek from 2005. Bit overrated, okay? A tiny bit, tinsy bit. Still a near perfect story, if not a perfect story. Christopher Eccleston is just at his very best in this episode. He gives an amazing performance here, fighting out with that one Dalek. And it's amazing how they only use one Dalek, but they still manage to make it as terrifying as having billions of Daleks. And that's why this episode succeeds, in my opinion, because it does that. It makes the Daleks terrifying, like they were in 1963 with the very first episode of the Daleks, which I am yet to see, but I am so looking forward to seeing it. And the supporting characters of this are brilliant, but I do think the highlight of this episode is Eccleston himself and the Dalek, because it's just such an interesting story as well. So number 8, an episode that people might consider... Hang on, why have you put this in here? This is the top 10 best episodes of Doctor Who. It's a bit of an odd one, but I think it is... I think this is criminally underrated. Number 8, Under the Lake and Before the Flood, 2015, Series 9, the second 2-parter to come out of that alright series. But, yeah, I love this. This was one of my first episodes. I grew into the show with Series 9, really. I became a fan with Series 11, but I was watching it in Series 9. And it's such a good episode. I remember this episode being on the screen for the first time, and I was really creeped out by the ghosts. I really was. I remember. I didn't really watch the second part. I don't remember seeing that, but the first part especially. It's so creepy. And it still holds up to this day. It is such an interesting episode. It's a great use of the 2-part format. I think it's one of the best uses of a 2-parter, because the first part, it's the setup, and the second part, it's the reason why that thing in the first half happened, and with each scene, they keep revealing something new about the episode, and it's so clever. And the cliffhanger at the end of part 1 is brilliant. The supporting characters are all interesting, and I remember all their names. I won't go through them now, but yes, that's how many times I've seen this episode, and it's just so brilliant. And, the Fisher King, cool design, but it's a shame it doesn't get used that much. So, number 7, an episode that you probably expected to see on here, The Waters of Mars, the 2009 special. There was no reason for this episode to come out, but apart from that, it's excellent and it needed to come out at some point. By far the best episode in the 5 specials that we got between 2008 and 10, because the rest of them are middling, but this one is just incredible. It's so creepy. It's not one of the scariest Doctor Who episodes of all time, but it is definitely up there, and it's a teensy bit overrated, but I still think this episode, probably a 10 out of 10 to be honest. It is that good. Tennant is on perfect form, and whilst I'm not the biggest fan of the Time Lord victorious thing that he does at the end, but I'm glad that he realises that he's gone too far, because that would have just been, oh, hang on, this isn't the 10th Doctor, this is the 6th Doctor or something. So yeah, that was a bit out of character for me, but I'm glad he realised he's gone too far, because that does happen, and the consequences of that's what I like. And overall, it's a Base Under Siege story. I love Base Under Siege story. They're some of my favourite episodes of the show. We've already had Under the Light before, and the Impossible Planet of the Satan Pit was very close to coming on here. It would have been my 11th spot, literally. Number 6, I lost count there. No, it is number 5. No, it is 6. I was right the first time. Blink. Again, an episode you probably expected to be on here, and it was voted the number 1 best episode of Doctor Who back in the day, a few years ago. I really don't think that holds up now. I mean, I've put it in 6th place. I'm sure a lot of people would put it in the 5th to 10th spot. But it's a Weeping Angel episode. I love the Weeping Angels. I think on my channel when I did that little information about me, my favourite Doctor, favourite companion, favourite monster, I think I did put the Weeping Angels there. You know what? I think that's probably still there now. Weeping Angels, they're so creepy, and this is by far their best use. Again, I was nearly going to put Angels Take Manhattan on here, but that kind of got knocked out. So Blink is on here, and it's a Dr. Light episode, and it's one of the best uses of a Dr. Light episode. This and Turn Left are just superb, and we're not going to talk about Love and Monsters. Number 5, The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. I have reviewed this episode, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was actually the first episode that I reviewed in the series that I'm doing right now. So, Empty Child and the Doctor Dances is a sublime 2-parter. Stephen Moffat's first entry to the show, that is if you don't count, what was it called? Curse the Fatal Death in the 90s. But this is his first proper episode for Doctor Who, and man, he made a brilliant first impression. That empty child monster is so scary. I'm sure a lot of people got creeped out with that episode if they were watching it back in the day in 2005, and I'm really not surprised. Christopher Eccleston, once again, on top form, and it's obviously this is the first episode of Captain Jack Harkness. I always forget that he's a Moffat character. Strange that. But yes, it's an incredible episode. Number 4, Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead. Another episode that I reviewed. In fact, I think this came after Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. And I stand by that. I haven't rewatched it since that review in April time, but it's incredible. It's another really scary Moffat episode. Yeah, we've had loads of Moffat episodes, haven't we? Actually, no, we haven't. We've only had 3. We've had 3 in a row. But yeah, this is brilliant. Vashnarada, sublime villain. And I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of the second part. I don't really understand that. I love it. I like how it plays with Donna. Although I do love seeing the Doctor and Donna interact with each other, I do think this still worked brilliantly. And the Doctor's dynamic with River Song, I really think we needed that time of those two alone, because in the first part, it was very much a mystery and they couldn't really talk about it because Donna was there. So to have Donna get separated from the Doctor and River so we can really get close with those two, it's brilliant. It really is. And I'm just trying to think of anything else to say at this episode. I think that's just about covered it. But You know, it's a classic kind of thing of, are you afraid of the dark? And it does it brilliantly. Number 3. This top 3 is so close. We have 1 from the David Tennant era and 2 from the Capaldi era. Number 3, Human Nature and the Family of Blood. A 2-parter to come out of Series 3, the episode before Blink, and it is amazing. The Doctor turning human is just a brilliant concept and unique as well, and the fact that he does it for the whole episode, not just 10 minutes of the 90 minutes. The whole episode he's human, and that scene where he turns back to Time Lord is so iconic and one of my favourite 10th Doctor moments. But the rest of the episode as well, the Family of Blood are an amazing film. I think they got to my number 1 on my top 10 one-timer villains, and for a good reason. I stand by that. Family of Blood are such a cool and interesting villain. The son of mine especially, or the brother of mine, and the mother of mine as well, are my favourites of the 4. The other 2 are naff, but those 2 especially are so intimidating, and the acting is superb. And this is by far, this and the Series 3 finale are Martha's best outings. Freema Rajiman gives an amazing performance in this episode, and I think she's one of the best things about it. Number 2, we have our top 2 Capaldi episodes now, and on another day, when I rewatch these 2 episodes, I might reorder these 2, maybe, I don't know, but this is what I've gone with this day. Number 2, Heaven Sent. Series 9, Capaldi's solo episode. And it's such a good one. It really is. Moffat just goes, you know what, let's just do something brilliant. And it really was. Capaldi sells it. I don't think any other actor could have done this. Matt Smith probably could have done it. I could really see Matt Smith in this episode. But it was always going to be Capaldi, wasn't it? Capaldi just sells it massively. And although I'm not the biggest fan of Clara, Face the Raven really did her justice for me, and so does this episode. We're not going to talk about the abomination that came after it, but honestly, this episode alone almost makes up for the monstrosity that came after it. It is beautiful. It is poetry, this episode. I think that is a perfect word to describe it, poetry. Number 1, for my favourite episode of Doctor Who, New Who, always had to go to World Enough and Time and The Doctor Falls. Now, The Doctor Falls is nowhere near as good as World Enough and Time, but they are definitely 2 10 out of 10 episodes, definitely. World Enough and Time, all day long, is my favourite episode of Doctor Who. Lumped in with The Doctor Falls, it is only just. But honestly, both of them. Missy, I love Missy in this episode especially, because this kind of rounds off her arc of, could Missy possibly turn good? And the answer is, we don't know, because she just gets killed as soon as she's about to turn with the Doctor. But, you know, I love that ending, because it just adds on to Missy's unpredictableness. How Missy is so unpredictable. And I know some people don't like John Sims' addition to this episode. I'm on the fence with it, but he's still brilliant. Moffat writes John Sims' Master amazingly, and the first episode's so creepy, not very action-packed, but still a sublime episode. So that's my top 10 list. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe if you're new. That would be awesome. And hopefully the next video on this channel will be a trailer reaction. Hopefully. There was talk about it coming out today on the 23rd. It's what's the time now? It's 3 minutes to 5 right now, so it's not looking good. But yes, that is this video for today, guys. I would say comment down below, but it probably won't let you. If comments are disabled, then honestly, you can let me know on my discussion page. Discussion pages, everybody. Get to my discussion page and tell me your favourite episodes of Doctor Who. I know what some people's are, but tell me anyway. Give me your whole top 10 if you're really thinking like it. But obviously, if you can comment, then comment. Alright, so that is this video for today, guys. And Face the Raven review hopefully will be out this week. If not, at the weekend, which I suppose is this week. But anyway, bye for now.